Hello everyone, it's Maria here from Pepperly Rose Paper Crafting. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Sydney, Australia. Thank you all so much for joining me. Today I'm going to be making a card with the Mountain Air stamp set and the matching dies. I bought them as a bundle. So those are the matching dies and the stamp. I'm just going to use the stamp set today, but I just wanted you to be aware you can buy them as a bundle and save 10%. This bundle deal is only when they are first released, and then if they carry on to the next catalogue, then that's it. You have to buy them separately. So if I were you and you really love this bundle, I suggest you buy it as a bundle and save your 10%. I'm using the High Tide stamp set. I'm going to use also the Stone 3D embossing folder. This is a free celebration item for every $180 you spend. This also couples with another stamp set called Power of Hope. I haven't brought it up here, but you can look through the mini catalogue and have a look in, the celebration catalogue, and for every $180 you can get this beautiful stone looking embossing folder. And I'm also going to be using the rectangle stitch dies as well. So we'll get started on the project. Now I'm using Whisper White cardstock. This is half an A4, and then I've scored it in half again to make an A6 card base. I love using Whisper White on practically everything. So I'll just burnish that score line. Then I have a piece of Whisper White cardstock that is that I have trimmed down, and this will go over the top, and then I've got a scrap piece here that we're going to use to colour on. So I drew my inspiration from, I'll show you this image, that image here. I'm going to try and emulate that as well as I can. So this is from my phone, and I quite like the colours because they're quite unusual. It looks like it's like a sunrise, sunset kind of thing. So I thought, why not use this? So I'm going to get my craft sheet and I'm going to do some ink blending that looks similar to this. So I'm going to put that off to the side there, and I'll use that as inspiration. So yeah, if you're low on inspiration and you want to know colours and things you can use Google. Google's great like that, and you can find images. And it's just beautiful. I love that. So that's what I'll be using as inspiration. So I'm going to grab my Balmy Blue. No, actually I won't use Balmy Blue to start off with. I'm going to use my makeup brushes. And I'm going to start blending some Pineapple Punch. Just very lightly. Tap off. And let's see where I can use that. Yeah, just up the top here. So let's do a little bit of Pineapple Punch. Doesn't have to be precise, but you know, like that. Take that off, clean that off, and then I'm going to use a little bit of Grapefruit Grove. So I'm just using that as inspiration. And just go along the bottom there. A little bit here. Like that. Doesn't have to be overly precise in any way. This is just an interpretation of that photo, which is absolutely beautiful. So I'll just clean off my brush, make sure I get rid of everything off that. And then my screen just turns off, but that's okay. Then, okay, I'll just use a little bit of Flirty Flamingo as well. Just grab a bit of that and tap off and start off light, and then you can work your way up to other colours. Like that, beautiful. And then I'm going to grab some Gorgeous Grape. I see a little bit of Gorgeous Grape and Rich Razzleberry. I think those are the two colours that I see there. And I'll just clean off that brush quickly And I'll grab some gorgeous grape. Tap off because it's quite a strong colour. And just go along the bottom there. And then I'm going to, okay, it doesn't have to be precise. The edges I will probably get rid of. And then I'll add my rich raspberry. So I'll just quickly take that off. Add some rich raspberry. Tap off. It's quite a strong colour. Just go over that like that. Kind of mix it up a little bit, but very lightly, and it gives that overall look there, which is quite nice. That's quite pretty. All right, so we're done with these colours, and then we're going to grab some balmy blue, and I'm just going to clean that off very quickly. Just make sure there's nothing on the back. A little bit more. Okay. Then I'll grab some balmy blue, and I'll use my larger brush, and I'll just blend that like that. Just make it a little bit more heavy towards the top. Like that. I love using these makeup brushes. They're fantastic, and I've done videos of these last year as well, so you can look through a lot of my videos and I feature this. All right, so that's it with the ink blending there. It's not going to be exactly the same, but I think kind of we can get the gist of that. So just clean that off a little bit there. So we're just going to selectively edit this. So I just want, say, from that half up, if that makes sense. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot. We need some, yeah, we'll get some balmy blue. And I'll just ink blend down the bottom here for the lake. Looks like a lake. Okie dokie, a little bit more, and that will do us. All right, so we'll build up our scene very, very slowly. So quickly wipe that down, and then we're truly done with it. All right, let that dry off. Clean this off. Okay, so with this scene here, as you can see, the blue, the mountain there is quite blue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink that up in Blueberry Bushel. So I'm just going to grab my block, and I'll get my stamp set, and it's got this mountain here. So I've been playing with this stamp set, and it's beautiful. I just love it. Thanks, Connie, for making me get it. It is a wonderful set. All right, so there is a detailed side and the smooth side. We're going to use the smooth side, and we're going to ink that up in Blueberry Bushel, not Night of Navy. So we'll ink it all up. Okay. And then I'm just going to grab a piece of paper. We're going to stamp the mountain only in like half area there, about here. So we'll just stamp that about there, I'd say. So let's stamp that. And I'll just let it sit there for a minute. Perfect. I think I'm done now with the blueberry bushel. I'll just give that a wipe. And then the next image I'm going to stamp on is this one here. So I'll just put this here to dry off a little. So I want to stamp that. And I'm going to use the detail part of that image. And I'm going to use some old olive for that. And I'm only going to ink up just up to about there. So it will look like that. So let's do about there. It looks like that. Clean that off. Actually, I might use a little brush there. I'm going to use my brush on the makeup brush there, and I'm just going to ink the green onto there. Don't waste your ink. Just grab a little bit of old olive just to lightly ink that up there so it doesn't look so white. Okay. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the High Tide stamp set, and I'm going to be using this image right here, the water. So I'll just grab that and put that on a block. And I'm going to be using a blueberry bushel. And I'm going to stamp it off a couple of times. And I'm going to stamp that on there. Stamp that off a couple of times. Stamp here. And like that. And like that. So it looks like that. That's just for now. And then we're going to take that off for the moment. Then I'm going to stamp some trees here. So I'm going to grab the image that has these two trees there. And as I said, we're just drawing inspiration. It's not exactly going to be exactly the same. And for that, I'm going to be using Pear Pizzazz. And I'm going to stamp here, here, and here. I'm going to stamp that there. Like there. And okay, like that. Excuse me. Actually, I'll leave that on there. And then I'm going to grab my Granny Apple Green, actually, and just give it just some different shades of green. That was from before when I mucked it up. So I'll just use Granny Apple Green now in full strength, and I'm just going to just stamp it around so I can get different shades of trees. So it looks like that. And then stamp up there as well. And I think that looks really pretty. I think I did a much better job with it this time. And then let's do this one here, like that. All right, and then there. All right, so what we'll do next is we're going to stamp the more detailed part of that mountain now. So I'll bring back this image here. So we just turn the stamp over because this is a reversible stamp. And I'm going to use now the more detailed image. Whoops. And what I will do is use my embossing buddy. I've just got to find that. Use my embossing buddy. And then I'm going to grab my Versamark ink pad. And I'm just going to use just the top of the mountains. So it doesn't have to be overly like precise either, because we are going to cut it down. So I'll just use the tops of the mountains there. And I'll take that bit off. And just stamp the top there. All right, let's see how that turned out. And I'll just put some white embossing powder on there. Oh, that looks pretty. Just get a bit more embossing powder. I think that looks nice like that. I'll just get rid of that area that I don't want. I think that looks really, really lovely. So I just did the tips of that mountain. So I'm going to heat emboss this. Get rid of any excess ink there. Okay, that looks lovely. So I will heat emboss this off camera and I shall be back. I've just finished heat embossing that, so that's how that looks. And it looks, I love that, it looks terrific, I think. Now I'm going to grab this image here very quickly, and it's the smaller of the tree. And I'm just going to add a little bit of old olive to it, just to give it a bit more definition of trees. So just to give it a bit more oomph like that, yeah. And yeah, oops. All right, because I'm going to cut some of this off anyway, so I'm going to use like a smaller like rectangle framelit there. And let me think what else it needs. I'll just have a look at the picture, see here. And the background there, I think it needs a little bit more of the like a lighter colour mountain behind it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this over to the smooth side, and I'm just going to ink the tip of that image there, and I'm going to be using Balmy Blue. So I'll just use the tips of that mountain there, like so. Just to add, I'll just get rid of the excess ink that I don't need along the bottom there. Yeah. All right, and now I'm just going to start inking that at the back, just to give it a little bit more, like that. I could go a bit off. And I think that turned out really well, so I'll just do another stamp off as well. And it looks like there's more of a mountain range happening. I think that looks much better. So I'm just going to now take off that ink and we'll just put this card together. So that's done. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab our framelets. Where's our stitch dies, sorry. Rectangle stitch dies. And I'm going to grab, I think, the third largest. Yeah, third largest one. And we'll pick a scene that we like. So I quite like it like that. But I would like a little bit more blue, so, I think like so. I think that will look nice, so I'll do that. So I'll just grab my big shot and I'm going to cut that out. Just get my bits and pieces ready. I could go like this, I think. Like that. I think that will be great there. So I'll angle it this way. Just makes it easier to cut. When you have framelets like this, it's easier to cut it at an angle and it won't go through as weird. Like it'll just flow through nicer like that. Okay, and that's how that turned out. I think that's pretty good. And we'll keep this out. We'll just get rid of the thin die adapter. We're going to have, get rid of that as well. And what we're going to do next is we're going to emboss the white panel. I'm going to bring that over with the stone 3D embossing folder. So I'll just bring that out. So I'm using that with the Stampin' Up sign up. So I put that in, folded end going towards the roller first, and then I'm going to bring my 3D embossing folder plate, which is the blue one, and we just run that through. Okay, so that's all done. So if you're confused about which sandwich you use, so you use your Big Shot platform, your cardstock in the die, in the embossing folder, the blue, and then run it through. So that's how you do that one. So that's that done. So this is how the stone embossing folder looks. Isn't that gorgeous? And that's the underside, so you can pick whichever side you like. I'm going to use this side here, the more smooth side, the embossed side. So I'm just going to bring over my card base. I'm going to stick that on the top there. I'm going to glue that down. Whoops. I'm going to square that on there, make sure it's kind of in the middle there. I think it looks beautiful. Doesn't it add a nice texture to that? And then I'm going to add this on top. And I think that looks lovely. So I'm just going to glue that down. You can also stick it up on dimensionals, but I'm going to keep it simple. And I'm just going to just glue it over the top like so. And that's my finished card for today. So I'm just leaving it as is. I'm not going to put any sentiments. The inside can remain blank, so you can write your sentiment in there. but I think the wow factor is at the front, and I love the stone because it kind of looks like, you know, the mountains and the stones and things like that. So I hope you liked today's tutorial. If you would like to purchase any of the products that I have shown you, please go through my online store at pepperlyrosepapercrafting.stampinup.net. All of the stuff I've shown you, minus the glue and the makeup brushes, can be purchased through my online store. If you're interested in joining Stampin' Up, please join my team. I would love to have you on board. I had a lovely lady join my team yesterday, which I am thrilled. So I have a team of 1 and I'm hoping to build up my team some more. This is just fun. I'm an easygoing demonstrator. I don't push anyone. If you want to join purely for the discount, you can do that. And if you don't want to do Stampin' Up anymore, you drop without penalty. You don't have to pay anyone back. Don't have to do anything like that. If you drop, you just drop. If you want to just take advantage of the great celebration offer that I explained in my video day before yesterday, you can have a look at my Stampin' Up haul starter kit. I show you what you can get as an example. Pardon me. So if you're interested in joining Stampin' Up, please join my team. I'd love to have you on board. I can accept any anyone from anywhere in Australia, so I'd love to have you on board. And if you've got any questions at all, please don't hesitate to use the Contact Me section of my online store, and that way you can email me directly and I will get back to you as soon as possible. So thank you all guys for watching. I hope I've inspired you to use your lovely goods. They're so much fun and you can create this for any occasion. And yeah, highly versatile sets, these two. Love the High Tide. This is one of these sets that has stood time for me, so that's wonderful. All right, guys, have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again next time. Bye.